retweeted.
Let's see. Share that.
Whoa.
Come on. Let's see.
Kind of like the pink light makes it kind of purplish in here. It's very
Yeah, it adds a cool color tone to it.
very moody.
Now you just need to get a strobe light.
Yeah. All right.
All right, that is shared. Let me retweet this real quick.
All right. Oh, let me get the notes up. 5 more to 300.
I know, it's insane. Yeah, this whole year has just flown by quick.
I know. It has.
Let's see, Nerd Cave Retro.
Goes faster every year.
And I get more gray hairs every year.
Yep.
All right. That is retweeted. Close Facebook. See if I can access the chat now.
Should be up.
Yeah, it's still showing a blank screen.
That's weird. Let's see. I'll go.
Let me. It's probably something on my end. Let me try one more thing.
Okay.
A fantastic.
I watched Halloween 3 again the other night.
It's a great movie.
It's just as good.
I do not care what the haters say because they are wrong.
It's just
You
as
can't
good.
tell me that movie's worse than some of those sequels they did when they brought Michael Myers back, because
Right?
those sucked.
I mean, it's just
They
as
were
good
terrible.
the 500th time I've seen it as opposed to the first time I've seen it. And if you don't like it, if you're out there watching and you don't like it, then that's more for me.
It's like you go back and watch those sequels. It's like Michael Myers' mask got cheaper.
Yeah.
Like by the time it got to that last one, I felt like it was one that I could go pick up at the Dollar Tree.
Oh, yeah. Joey in the chat room. What's up, good sir?
Joey. Good evening.
Well, I'm ready to get this thing started. What do you say?
Yep, I'm all set.
Here we go. In 3, 2, 1. Greetings, programs, and welcome back to another edition of the Nerd Cave Retro Show. My name is Jason Robbins.
And my name is Derek Diamond.
We are going strong in Halloween Horror Month. We just did Derek couldn't join us yesterday, but we did do a Patreon exclusive episode with Mr. Joey Image and the fact checker himself, Mr. Wally Phelps, who did a spoiler-filled review of Halloween Ends. And so if you want to get that, as little as $1 a month at our Patreon.
The very divisive Halloween Ends.
It has been.
It's
very much.
It's so ridiculous, like the amount of hate that things get. Like it's tough to really put credibility into it because it's like whatever's new, hating it is the cool thing to do.
Yeah,
so it's like, do you really hate it, or are you saying it because you think it's cool to hate it?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't get it. I liked it. I mean, I had my nitpicky stuff with it, but I do that with every movie, you know?
Yeah, like when it comes to the new Halloween trilogy, I think the Halloween 2018 is still my favorite, but I liked this one more than Halloween Kills, surprisingly.
I don't know. I was one of the people that really liked Halloween Kills. Well, I don't know. I have to do another rewatch of Ends before I make a determination of which one I like better.
Did you catch the little nod to Season of the Witch for Halloween Ends?
I don't know. Where was it?
During the opening credits, they used the same font that they
Oh yeah,
used
yeah,
for
yeah.
the opening for Halloween 3.
Love it.
I,
Yes.
I knew it immediately because I was like, is this what they meant by the movie's going to be divisive? Because I
Yeah.
remember hearing that it was going to upset a lot of people. And I'm like, are they really going to have some kind of connection? That
I
would have been
really
great.
wish they would have had a Silver Shamrock connection in the movie because, in my heart, three is canon. None of the other ones are, but three is. One and three.
They should have had the Silver Shamrock Tower instead of the radio tower.
Yeah,
And that's
that would.
not a
Oof.
spoiler.
Yeah. But
That
before
would have
we,
been cool.
we, we go into anything, you had a little announcement you wanted to make tonight.
Yeah, so for those who follow me on social media, I'm sure you saw that I posted it this morning. But I've made the decision to no longer do the feature presentation show. And there's a few different reasons why, mostly because of time. And I'm sure you know this. And I think a lot of people still have the assumption that when it comes to podcasting, you just sit in a chair, hit the record button, and then when you're done, it just magically goes out into the internet,
Yeah.
and that's all you have to do with it. That is not the case. Between doing this show, doing feature presentation, still working on the movie, wanting to do other scripts and all other kinds of stuff. I have a lot of interest in what I like to do. So I do a lot.
Mhm.
And kind of a personality fault of mine is I try to go all in with everything. The problem when you do that is you don't really have much energy to do anything.
Mhm.
So my and I've been having some, and I won't disclose all of them, but I've had some underlying health issues that I haven't been taking care of like I should.
Mhm.
So it's to the point where it, I just have to walk away from it. I need to have that extra time to, because I want to do more movies. There's other stuff that I want to do. And I've been doing the podcasting thing for a long time, especially that kind of interview based format through feature presentation for those who are longtime listeners back to the Derek Diamond Experience days. And I kind of feel like I've done everything with it that I can. So unfortunately, and I apologize, to those who were enjoying the show, but I feel like I'm not in a position where I can do it at the level that I expect of myself.
Mhm.
So I would rather not do the show at all than do one that's just average.
Yeah. I mean, and there's nothing wrong with that. Podcasting is not as easy as people think it is. It takes a lot of time, takes a lot of there's a lot that goes into it, and this show here is relatively easy because, playing games and talking about retro game stuff is relatively just it's more of it's a passion project. Like it doesn't really, suck any energy out of me, and I know you enjoy doing it as well, and it doesn't it's not like an energy suck like a lot of other podcasts tend to get to be, especially something that is interview based. You got to line up your interviews. You have to do a lot of editing, all that kind of stuff. That takes time. So I don't blame you. And like you'll still be here. You'll still be doing the
Yeah.
Nerd Cave Retro, and people still see you here every week. So I don't think people will be too upset. I mean, you're still here.
Yeah. And I mean, I have no regrets because, those who may be new to this show, the amount of people that and the quality of people that I've got to interview over the years is pretty dang good,
Hmm.
if I do say so. So I've gotten to chat with people that I would have never dreamed of over the last 7 8 years, however long it's been since I've been doing it. But somewhere along the line, I probably will do another show. But as far as me doing like a weekly interview based show, that's done.
Yeah.
If I do another show, I want it to be completely different so that it can kind of challenge me creatively to do something different.
Yeah. I don't blame you. I've let a lot of shows in my past go because it was just taking too much out of me. And like I said, this show, open micers, they're very easy shows to do, and I've curated them that way. Like when we do this show here, there's very minimal editing. I mean, we go live every Monday night right here, and it's just straight to hard drive, and then it gets a little bit of editing here and there, but it goes straight out to the internet. And after that, it's all up to just posting it out there, letting people know about it. So there's not a lot of legwork we have to do for this show, and I've curated it that way.
Yeah, and with open micers, I know you've got Jacob that helps out too with
Yeah, he
feature
does.
pre
He does all the heavy lifting for that show.
with feature presentation, and even with the Derek Diamond experience. Like the drawback to doing your own show is you do everything on your own. So it was just balancing that with full-time job, other projects that I
Mhm.
want to do. It's become too much.
Yeah, well, I
So
get it.
there's so it's I'm at peace with it, to be perfectly honest. I'm sure at some point I'll miss doing it, but that's okay.
You'll get that itch again. You'll start another show, and then 6 months in, you'll be like, "Why did I do this to myself again?"
No, you know when it's going to
Mm,
happen, leading up to Pensacon.
Probably.
Yep, that's where I'm going to be like, I'd love to chat with them,
Yeah.
but it's okay. So, but like you said, I'll still be here. I'll still be here doing Nerd Cave
Yeah.
Retro every week. So I'm not quitting podcasting. So for my haters, I'm sorry. I'm not going anywhere.
Yeah, we're not going anywhere anytime soon. So don't worry your pretty little heads out there. We're still going to be here every single week.
Also, shout out to Rampage, who's in the chat room.
Yeah, Rampage.
Rampage.
But I'm ready to jump into the news. What do you say?
Yeah, let's do it.
Some of today's stories were submitted to us by our listeners. I am the Rampage and Armez Jackson. And if you have a story you'd like us to cover, send them to nerdcaveretro@gmail.com. And the first story tonight comes from Engadget. Razer's cloud gaming handheld starts at $400 for the Wi-Fi only model. A 5G version of the Razer's Edge is also coming in January, but pricing is currently unknown. Razer, as you may recall, recently teased a 5G handheld device that's focused on cloud gaming. They took the opportunity at RazerCon to formally announce the system, which it is called the Razer's Edge. And it has a 6.8-inch AMOLED screen with a refresh rate of 144 hertz and a full HD resolution of 2400 by 1080. Razer claims the display has 87% more pixels than competitors' devices. The Steam Deck screen, for instance, has a 1280 by 800, and the Edge's Gorilla Glass touchscreen also has a 288 hertz sampling rate, which should make it pretty darn responsive. They've worked with Qualcomm and Verizon on the device, and it runs on the Snapdragon G3X Gen 1 gaming platform, which was developed exclusively for the Edge. Let's see, where is... this is a long article. Let me get to some of the pricing and stuff here. Let's see. The 5G version of the Razer's Edge is a Verizon exclusive. Pricing and exact availability will be confirmed later, but should be out in January around the same time as the Wi-Fi model. That version will run you $400, and it'll be available from Razer's website and Razer store locations. And you can reserve one with a refundable deposit of $5. And they haven't revealed pricing or availability for the standalone Kishi V2 Pro controller.
This all sounds cool, I will admit, but I will not be getting one of these. And because of two words, cloud gaming.
Yeah.
I'm not a fan of cloud gaming. And it says here, since this is a cloud gaming focused device, connectivity is key. Razer says the Edge has Wi-Fi 6E that performs on an uncongested 6 gigahertz channel and has multi-gig bandwidth support for fast download and upload speeds. When you're on the go, you'll be able to connect to cloud gaming services through 5G as long as you have the right model. Yeah, I don't like being dependent on connection strength
Yeah, me
because there are still places around here that don't have great service. I mean, if you lived in like Los Angeles or New York or some big city, yeah, you'd be more inclined to get it because you're going to have strong service. But, if you go out to like our neck of the woods where there's still not much civilization in some areas,
Yeah.
you ain't going to be playing this out there. So
Uh,
if it's your thing, yeah, I would look into it because I mean, the price I don't think is really all that bad compared to, other
well,
stuff I've seen.
I'm
But
thinking
I personally will not be getting one.
if you're gonna fork down $400 for something like this, why not plop down another two or three on top of it and just go ahead and get a Steam Deck?
Yes,
If that's what you want, if that's what you want and that's what you're gonna get, I think the Steam Deck is more up people's alley right now. Because, like you
I
said,
think so too.
I don't like cloud gaming. After my my experience with PS Now and all that, I do not like game streaming or anything like that until we get to the point where that stuff is instantaneous and there's no lag, which could be a year from now, it could be 10 years from now, but I don't want to have to rely on just all streaming all the time.
I don't really like to leave things up to chance.
Me
And I
neither.
feel like buying one of these things would be leaving a lot of things up to chance.
Hmm.
It looks cool, but I will not personally be getting one. Our next story comes to us from our favorite site, NintendoLife.com. Two unreleased NES games surface on eBay, could go for thousands, because why not? Two unreleased games have been listed on eBay, the first being a prototype cartridge of a game called Battlefields of Napoleon, including all the original packaging design, and the second one is a demo of a Nintendo Power Glove game developed by Rare, which sounds amazing.
Hmm.
Napoleon was never released locally, but a Japanese version of this real-time strategy game was made available for the Famicom as Napoleon Senki. The Rare title was a consumer electronics show sample that never saw the light of day. Former programmer Paul Byford describes it as a puzzle game where the cursor was a disembodied hand, but of course it is, and you made different gestures to complete tasks such as punching rocks and turning keys. I could be pretty entertained by that.
Yeah, but it just
I'm
kind
not
of
gonna
sounds
lie.
like a point and click adventure. Is all that is,
Yeah,
really.
it really does. Video Game History Foundation is now trying to secure funding from supporters to acquire both the cartridges. Founder and director Frank Cifaldi thinks the sale of these cartridges on eBay could be well into the thousands. If you would like to help, his DMs are open on Twitter. He says, I don't know what price to expect on these, but in my experience, we are in the thousands here. If you've got the cash to spare and want to see these, my DMs are open. We can also discuss tax deductible options if you're in the US and want to donate to VGHF for this purpose. We haven't talked about this in a while, but I want like how do people come up with the money to buy these games for hundreds and thousands of dollars
I don't
when
know.
everything's so expensive now and it's gonna get worse?
I
Like I
mean,
don't we're in the wrong profession,
for
I
real.
guess.
I mean, if I had millions and I could drop, a couple of grand on this type of stuff, I would, but I
Oh,
don't
I
have
would
that.
too.
So I don't
I
know
mean,
where these.
I don't blame them at all. Like if you got it and that's not going to hurt you at all,
Yeah,
then yeah, do it.
must
It's your right.
must be nice. I would just like to know what that's like for once in my life to just be able to plop down a few grand for something and be like, here, I'll take it.
I would just like to have a few grand.
Yeah, no kidding. Wouldn't that be nice right now?
uh, Fund our next movies.
Patreon.com/nerdcaveretro where you can
There
donate.
we go.
This is from GameRant.com. The PS Plus Premium continues to drop the ball when it comes to retro games. PlayStation Plus Premium has the perfect opportunity to dive into PlayStation's extensive back catalog, but Sony continues to drop the ball, you don't say. Ever since Microsoft entered the gaming market with the original Xbox, there's been a rivalry between Xbox and PlayStation. Despite their console manufacturers having a head start, the Xbox managed to hit the scene with a bang and establish itself as a competitor. They've remained competitive, and they have, of course, Game Pass, which has all sorts of backwards compatible games from former systems, because they're Microsoft and they know the importance of earlier titles that people still want to play. PlayStation Plus, As it was marketed to be a similar service, offering big new releases and an expansive selection of PlayStation 1, 2, and 3 and PSP classics, unfortunately, it has not reached its full potential, or any potential really. And that's why I have not, I don't know. I don't really subscribe to any more PlayStation online access stuff or anything. If I had an Xbox, I would have Game Pass. I mean, I could probably
Same.
use Game Pass now on my iMac, but I just don't have the time. But I don't know. It's just, I don't understand why PlayStation has why they don't like their earlier stuff, why they don't like their retro stuff.
If I had the opportunity to talk with a higher up in Sony, I would just like to ask what happened. Because, like, I feel like with the previous gen console, like, PS4 was so much better received than the Xbox One. Like, I
Yeah.
still really like playing the PS4 every now and then, and they have the potential to do so much stuff because they've got a good backlog of content. Like, you remember how many PS2 games were made? I'm pretty sure, like, they were still making them like 5 years ago.
Yeah. It was like,
Probably not that recent, but somewhere
there's
around
got to
that
be like
ballpark.
10,000 PS2 games at this point.
You've got It's like Nintendo. You're sitting on a gold mine, but you're not doing anything with it. And I don't understand it.
Yeah, in the chat room
I
right
love the Game Pass model.
in the chat room right now they're discussing PCP. PCP was my old podcast, The Pop Culture Palette. It's not the drug.
Farleston says he meant the drug.
Yeah.
Yeah, PCP was a fun show.
Yeah,
I enjoyed it.
but Game Pass just seems like Microsoft knows what they're doing with the Xbox Game Pass and all the old stuff that you can get on there. PlayStation just kind of, it just seems like they just kind of thumb their nose up at older titles, and they're just like, you don't want to play that, you want to play the new stuff. Not really. There's so much backlog of stuff that you have that people want to go back and play old things.
But I would make the argument that if not for their older titles, they wouldn't be in the position that they're in now.
Exactly.
Honor your past, Sony.
Yeah. PS2 was the highest selling console of all time. There was a lot of games for that thing.
Yeah, I mean, like I'm not exaggerating too much where I say that they were making PS2 games for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
There's a reason that that console had so much staying power. It's just insane. Let's see. Speaking of old titles, from
Mm-hmm.
Nintendo.com, Nintendo Switch Online Plus expansion pack Pilot Wings 64 is now available. Take to the skies and master a hang glider, rocket belt, and gyrocopter in a journey to become an ace pilot. Choose from 6 pilots with this lofty ambition, welcoming challenges that test your flying skills, or in this case of skydiving, falling skills. Do you have what it takes to soar the skies of the world? This was the other launch title for the Nintendo 64 along with Mario back in 1996. I dabbled in Pilot Wing 64 a little bit. I didn't play it too much. It's cool that they put it on the Switch, but it's like we were just kind of saying with Sony, Nintendo's sitting on an even bigger gold mine.
Yeah, no
But
kidding.
they release like 3 titles a year. It seems like
Yeah, yeah.
it's just put them all out there.
When was the last time they put a game out for the NES or the Super Nintendo on Switch Online? It's been months.
I was probably in my 20s when they did that.
I honestly, I never played Pilot Wings 64. I played the original Pilot Wings for the Super Nintendo,
Mm-hmm.
but there wasn't much to that game. I mean, it was just really it was a glorified game demo, basically.
It's a time killer. And I mean, Pilot Wing 64 is practically the same. It's not bad, but it's not a game that I'm going to sit there for, hours upon hours and play it because it's not really my thing.
Yeah, I just don't feel like this is enough to entice any more people to get that expansion pack.
Their library has gotten a little better, but they're just so inconsistent with putting stuff out there that I'm still not going to get it.
Yeah, they need to put somebody better in charge of all that.
I'll do it.
Yeah, let us do it. We'll do it,
Yeah,
Nintendo. Give us our
yeah,
check. And
yeah. We'll DM you our addresses.
yeah. And for our final story tonight, this just came to us a few minutes ago, right before the show, from superherohype.com. Harrison Ford officially joins the MCU as the new Thunderbolt Ross. Last month, YouTuber Jeff Snyder whipped Marvel fans into a frenzy when he claimed that Marvel had approached Harrison Ford about replacing the late William Hurt as Thaddeus Thunderbolt Ross in future MCU projects. The rumors picked up some extra steam last week when the Slash film independently confirmed Ford's involvement. But now all the major industry trades have made it official. Hollywood Reporter brings word that Ford is indeed taking over Hurt's role, starting with Captain America: The New World Order in 2024. He is also expected to appear as Ross in Thunderbolts, which should revive the Red Hulk rumors. Now, don't get me wrong. I think it's awesome that Harrison Ford is going to be Thunderbolt Ross, but let's be practical here. The guy's like 112 years old now, and you got him to replace William Hurt, who was younger than him when he passed away. So how much longer is Harrison Ford going to be around? Is he going to be around another 10 years for another, round of MCU movies? Like, I don't know. I don't know if this is the best. I love it. I love Harrison Ford, but the dude's old. He's like 86, I think.
I mean, he's playing Indy again, so I
Yeah.
think he should be able to handle being, because how physical of a role do you think that he'll have? Because clearly we're going towards a Red Hulk transformation, and that's all going to be computer generated. What I can't wait for, because I love the casting decision too. I love Harrison Ford. I can't wait till he goes to his first Comic-Con and all the Marvel nerds ask him questions about the comic books, and he just has that angry, salty look on his face. Is going to be so
He
great.
doesn't know anything about Star Wars. You think he knows anything about Marvel Comics?
My favorite Harrison Ford story at Star Wars Celebration 2017, the one I went to. This was right before the Solo movie came out. And he was doing an interview, and the interviewer asked him, are you excited to see a new actor put their take on a character that you made so famous? And his response was, not really. Like, you crotchety old man.
I mean, $20 says he doesn't even remember his character's name. Like he's gonna be at Comic-Con and they're gonna be like, "So how do you feel about playing Thunderbolt Ross?" He's just gonna be like, "Who the hell is Thunderbolt Ross?"
Oh god, that's what I can't wait for. But I in all seriousness, I love the casting decision. I think when the rumor came out a few weeks ago, I'm like, I hope that's true, because would you have ever thought Harrison Ford would be in the Marvel Cinematic Universe?
Not in a million years. I mean, I thought Harrison Ford was ready to retire, but no.
I thought he was going to be done after Indy.
I thought so too. I mean, I guess he's got some car payments to make. I don't know.
I mean, I can't imagine he'd be hurting for the money.
He can't be.
But who knows?
I don't know. I mean, I think it's cool. It's awesome, but yeah, he's up there, man. Yeah, I agree, Joey Image. He is a national treasure, but the man is ancient at this point.
Oh, Thunderbolt Ross is a great wrestling name. I totally agree.
Yeah.
Put him and Thunder Lips together. Be the best tag team of all time.
Thunder Lips.
Thunder Lips, the ultimate male.
Oh, boy. Now it's time to go into this month in video game history. I just got my new Twitter handle, Harrison Hogan. Joey Image.
I just saw that.
Oh, boy. I got to draw that. That sounds awesome. In October of 1981, Frogger is distributed in Europe by Sega Gremlin. What is Sega Gremlin? I've never heard of this.
Sounds like your worst nightmare.
Says Gremlin. Yeah, exactly. Gremlin Industries was an American arcade game manufacturer active from 1971 to 83, based in San Diego, California. I have never heard of this until now. This is brand new.
I didn't either until I looked this up.
Crazy.
But who hasn't played Frogger or
Oh
hasn't
yeah.
heard of Frogger? It's we talked about time killer games. Frogger is a great time killer game.
Oh yeah. It's probably one of the best ports you can get for the 2600. One of the few games that's still playable.
I used to play it on the Game Boy back in the early 90s when it came out. It's one of those things like you just pop it in and next thing you know an hour's gone by
Yeah.
all by trying to cross the freaking road.
Yeah. Joey says you can't play Sega Gremlin games after midnight. Yeah, you can't get it wet either, or it'll
Yeah,
multiply.
uh don't want to get you on a Gremlins rant. October 9th of 1988, Nintendo revamps Doki Doki Panic and releases it as Super Mario Bros. 2 for the NES in America and the PAL region. Birdo made her debut in this game and was released in Japan as Super Mario USA in 1992. When I read this, I thought of a great top five that we could do before the end of the year. We've never done our top five most underrated games
I'm down for that.
because this would be on mine easily. I
Yeah, I
still
think
think
so.
this game gets more hate than it deserves to.
Oh yeah, I love watching people do speed runs of it. You ever watch the speed run of Super Mario
Mm-hmm.
Brothers 2?
It's one of my favorite Mario games to play. Like it's up there with Mario World and like my list of favorite Mario games ever.
Yeah, me too.
So
I love it. Yeah, I have a lot
it,
of good
it
memories of 2 because my mom used to play it with me.
I remember playing it as a kid, and I honestly enjoyed playing it more than the original Mario Brothers.
I do too.
Might be blasphemy, but it's just my
Who
opinion.
cares? It's your opinion. My opinion
Exactly.
too. In October of 1992, did you do this on purpose?
No.
Gremlin Graphics releases Zool for the Amiga, a character-based platformer following in the footsteps of Mario and Sonic. Okay, who are Gremlin Graphics? Let's look at this. Gremlin Interactive. Um, for the ZX Spectrum, Amstrad, Commodore 64. They were just a publisher, I think. Let's see, video
Yeah,
games.
they were
Ooh,
dissolved in 2000, so
they
they're not
put
around anymore.
they put out a lot of games. They put out Gauntlet. Let's see, who is Jack the Nipper? That sounds sexy.
That could go in a lot of directions.
Apparently, they did a video game for Plan 9 from Outer Space in 1992.
We have to play that.
That is a point and click adventure game adaptation of the film of the same name. I have to play this. Why have I never heard of this?
I'm down to play that.
Oh, we have to do this. We have to.
That has dual review written all over it.
Yes, I'm down.
Yeah, they've made a lot. But yeah, they were disbanded in 2000. So unfortunately, they're not around anymore. I was going to say we could make a trip to burn the building down, but that we're about 22 years too late
Yeah.
on that. And finally, October 21st, 1992, another underrated game, Super Mario Land 2 Six Golden Coins, is released for the Game Boy in Japan and also features the first appearance of Wario. Still not talked about a lot, but a lot of people really like Wario and they forget that this is the game that he made his debut in.
Mm-hmm.
And that led to him having his own spin-off series because he was such a popular character.
Yeah, and I know you have a lot good to say about the Super Mario Land Game Boy games, and I've never played them, any of them.
Now that you've got a Super Game Boy, you should definitely check them out.
I know I
I
do.
think I think you would like two especially. Three's fun. That's where you play as Wario for the first time because it's the first Wario Land game. That one's fun. The original is good too, but it's kind of like if I could compare the console versions, Mario Land is like Super Mario Brothers 1, Mario Land 2 is like Mario Brothers 3.
Okay.
There's just such a big jump in quality.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to go get those. I really
You
need to
should.
play those.
You should. I'd be curious to get your thoughts on them.
But before we go into the review tonight, Derek has Patreon shoutouts.
As always, we like to shout out our awesome patrons over at patreon.com/nerdkretro. We want to shout out Daniel Salmon, Tyler Watson, AxeBlade07, Armez Jackson, Carlos Longoria, aka
Rampage.
Rampage, Staff Sergeant Sketch, Gus and Penny, Matthew Salmon, Mike Eveland, Jack Eveland, Joey Image, and Donna Diamond. Thank you all so much for your continued contributions and keeping the lights on for us here at the Nerd Cave Retro Show. If you want to be a part of our awesome Patreon community, you get early access to our bonus shows like the Nerd Cave Retro News Dump that you and Mr. Wally Phelps host. We also have done fun commentary tracks in the past for animated shows like Gargoyles, Darkwing Duck, DuckTales, live action shows as well, full length movies like Transformers the movie, Clue, Super Mario Brothers, and most recently, as you mentioned at the top of the show, you guys did a spoiler filled discussion on Halloween Ends, which I hope to check out sometime this week because I'm very curious to hear what you guys thought about it. I have a feeling I probably feel the same way that the three of you do.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure because you're a writer like we are, so you'll pick
Yeah,
up on all the little things that are just kind of irk you because nothing the little questions that don't get answered.
yeah, it wasn't a perfect movie, and there are some gripes that I had with it, but as I mentioned, I overall enjoyed it.
Hmm.
But yeah, if you want early access to those for as little as $1 a month, just head over to patreon.com/nerdcaveretro. And for new patrons, be sure to send us your social media info, whether it's Twitter, Facebook, or Instagram, so we can give you a proper shout out.
And I did not capture music for the game tonight because I suck. Damn it. I completely forgot to get music. That's okay, because tonight I'm talking about Haunted Halloween 86, The Curse of Possum Hollow. And this is a game that was released in October 24th of 2019, almost 3 years ago to the day this was released. And what I didn't know when I played this game, I got this on the Switch a couple of months ago. I got it on sale, knowing that I was going to play it for Halloween. So I sparked it up a few weeks ago, started playing it a little bit here and there. I didn't realize that there was originally a, well, no kidding, Joey Image. I know that 2019 is not retro, but this is a retro style game, and it is an indie game. So there you go.
It's our show,
Yeah,
man.
it's our show, man. But here we have, you can go to retrotainmentgames.com, and the original game is Haunted Halloween, that 85 that they put out. They did a Kickstarter for a few years ago, and you can still go to retrotainmentgames.com and buy the NES cartridge for it. It's $50, and you can also get it on Steam, but it is not available on the Switch. So if you want to play the original game, you have to go either play it on Switch or get it on Steam. You can also get this game on Steam. This game is available everywhere. Haunted Halloween 86, whatever platform you want, that's where you can get it. And it is, let's see, it's the mind-melting sequel to the first game, the side-scrolling platforming beat-em-up adventure that takes players back to the town of Possum Hollow on Halloween night when Harry and his haunts wreak havoc again. This time, Donnie has his tag team partner, Tammy, to help kick the crap out of those mindless wastoids that stand in their way of saving the town. And so when the game starts up, you're in the town of Possum Hollow, and, I kind of missed the whole story of the first game, but they kind of catch you up in a little, a little story at the beginning
Like
of
a
the
recap
game. Yeah, a
video?
little recap at the beginning. And here it is, Halloween a year later in 86, and the same thing, zombies are starting to pop up again. And the game plays a lot like River City Rampage. If you've never played that, it's very much like a RPG style. It's a beat 'em up like Double Dragon, but it has RPG elements to it. And there's little story pieces that come in here and there, little cut scenes and things like that. And yeah, Joey Image, you can play it. It should be able to be played on the Steam Deck. I would imagine so, since it's available on Steam. I played this on the Switch, and I will say, and I look at some of my notes here. You can switch between the characters of Donnie and Tammy. You can switch between them. They act kind of like an Extra Life, sort of like in the original Ninja Turtles game. You can hit the select button and switch between the two. You have
That's cool.
about 5 or 6 hit points before you die, and as you go, and you don't have a health meter, but you do have you're basically your character gets more and more decrepit. Like you start to look sick. Like when you start out, you're all vibrant, and you look nice, and then like the more your health goes down, you start to get pale, and you start to turn green. And if you go fully green, you die, and you have to start over, and you only get like 3 continues in the game. But the one thing I didn't like, I don't like the way it plays on the Switch. I would highly suggest if you're going to play it with a controller, like maybe an old Nintendo USB NES controller, or maybe like anything like a Super Nintendo controller or a way. And I'm not sure if there's a way you can do it on Steam where you can remap the buttons, because of course it's made for the original NES controller with the A B button. A is to jump, B is to punch, and you can do different things, like you press up and punch, you do an uppercut, which is way more powerful. You can do a slide punch, things like that. You have these different attacks you can use, but the way it plays on the Switch, the way the A and B buttons are kind of feel backwards because they're facing the other way than it feels naturally to play. And I wish I could remap the buttons, but they won't let you.
Well, that sucks.
And I don't
Like, I
know
feel like that
why.
should at least be an option, but I find that, and that's why I don't really like playing games on a computer, especially games like this where you can tell that they were originally meant to be played with a controller. It takes me out of it to a degree. Like, if the game's not pretty easily controllable,
Mhm.
it I can't really get into it as much. But I do really like the look of this game. Like, it looks like, peak NES era of Nintendo, but just
Yeah.
with a little bit more of a vibrant colors. And I
Uh-huh.
like the look of everything because I watched some gameplay earlier today, and it looks like something that I would enjoy. Like, I'm not good
Uh-huh.
at games like this, but I still enjoy playing them. And
Yeah,
this game looks like a lot of fun.
and that's what I'll say. Like to start off with, saying that this game is hard. It's Nintendo hard. I did not get very far in this game, and I was playing on easy because it's just hard. And I not that I mind that, but I feel like this is one of those games that's going to take me a long time to really get farther into it, and not just playing it for a week or two before I talk about it here on the show. If I'd have known it was going to take me so long to get used to it, I would have started a long time ago. But I do enjoy it. It looks great. It's got great music, sound effects, and well, it looks and plays like an original NES game. There's no kind of modern day frills to it, or anything to make life easier, like quality of life improvements. No, it straight up plays like an NES game with all of its hardness and just throw your controller against the wall frustration is what it is.
And I personally don't mind that. Like, I know a lot of new indie games, they'll still have that old Nintendo look,
Mm-hmm.
but with modern conveniences. So sometimes it is fun, as frustrating and hard as it can be, to play like a straight up Nintendo era game.
Yeah. And that's why I would love to play this. I do want to get the cartridge for this, and they're only $50 on the retro. What is it again? It's retrotainmentgames.com. And you can, let's see, I'll just go through the prices here real quick. You can get, let's see, you can actually get a Famicom version too if you want a Famicom version. Runs for 45. Haunted Halloween 86 NES game. Orange cartridge complete in box 60. Cartridge only 50, which that's not bad. You can get a green cartridge for 50. They have different colored cartridges you can get, orange or green, or the original Nintendo gray. These look really good, and they look like the original black box
Mm-hmm.
NES games, and I love it. I love it so much.
Yeah, I love when companies go all out with it to make it give that real, like, classic feel for it.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
Joey said it's not verified as compatible for the Steam Deck, which seems weird to me because it seems like the kind of game that would be very able to be played on the Steam Deck. So maybe tweet at them and see if they're doing an update or anything like that. Because I think they're pretty active on Twitter because they're still doing stuff. But to get back to the game, like I like the aesthetic of the game. I like the way it looks because it's got that haunted game, horror game kind of feel to it. And just going through it, it's like this is exactly like something I would have played back then when I was a kid because it's kind of got. I don't want to say it reminds me a lot of Nightmare on Elm Street because that's not a great game from LJN. I would say Nightmare on Elm Street's one of the better LJN games for that type of stuff that they did. It's not terrible, but it's not great. But this game kind of has that feel of that game, and that's what I like about it. It's got a very if you're into horror games and you want something spooky to play for Halloween, it's the perfect game to pick up. And it's not that expensive. I don't remember exactly what I paid for it on the Switch, but it was only a couple of dollars on the Switch.
You said you got it on sale?
Yeah, I think I did. Let me just look it up real quick. Let's see, Haunted, not
Because if it's
hunt,
on sale, I may get it.
not Haunted Halloween, Haunted Halloween, Halloween.
That's the off-brand version.
Yeah. Let's see here. On Switch, the official site right now. Come on, Sparklight, don't fail me now. Let's see. $9.99 right now on the Nintendo Switch.
That's not bad.
Yeah, it's not bad at all. It's totally worth the money to me. And I'm looking at here on Metacritic, and it's got a 73 on Metacritic. So that's very, very high for a game this small. Usually I don't see games like this getting that high of a score. But yeah, this seems like that's about what I would have given it. Probably a good solid C, B minus, around there.
Yeah, I'd be curious to try it out myself because, like I said, I like the look of it. I like these types of games. Um, I wonder how many levels or stages there are in the game because normally games like this I feel like aren't very long.
Yeah, I don't think it's very long. I did watch a couple of videos on it. I watched some reviews on it, but I think maybe 4 or 5 levels to it. And I know I definitely didn't get that far into the game, but I will eventually because this is something I'm just going to keep playing. It's got a lot of replayability to it. There are no, I mean, there might be some codes or cheats you can put into it, but like I just played it the way it was, and you get 3 continues, and then you start over, which I don't mind because it's it's based off old Nintendo stuff.
Yeah, I think I'll check this out. I may get this. Well, I'm still playing through Resident Evil for next week, so I think after I'm done with that, I'll give this game a shot.
Yeah, and Joey says the first game is $8 on Steam, and the second is 10. So if playing an old school Nintendo beat 'em up for Halloween with a Halloween skin over it and a cool little story, go support these guys. Who was the developer for this? Let's see. There was Retrotainment Games. It does not say who the developer, like any personal names of any of the developers, but I know it's a very small team that made this game. So go support those guys. Go buy the game. Go play it. It's very much worth the money. I enjoyed it, what I've played of it so far. And yeah, it's called Haunted Halloween. I guess if you want to play the original on Steam, go get 85 first, play through that, and then get Haunted Halloween 86, and you'll spend less than $20 for both of them.
That's a great deal.
It is. It's a very good deal.
Mm-hmm.
But I enjoyed it. Me personally, out of 10, I would give it a solid 7.5 out of 10. My only problem is I didn't like the playing it on the Switch itself. And here's another thing. While I'm playing on the Switch, I got the new, I got a new, what do you call it? The controller for the left side. What do you
Oh, the
call them?
Joy-Con?
Yeah, Joy-Con. Got a brand new Joy-Con for the left side that has a proper D-pad. It's the Zelda one that you can get. It's the Zelda branded one that you can get on Amazon. And I kept every the little button that you take screenshots with. It's way too close to the down button on
Mm.
the D-pad. So after every time I play this game, I have to go delete about 50 screenshots because every time I press down, I accidentally hit that stupid screenshot button.
I was about to say, so you have a lot of screen caps at this game.
Yeah, the other night after I played it for about 2 days, and then I went into my pictures to delete the screenshots I accidentally took. There was about 100 screenshots in there of this game that I
Oh,
accidentally
wow.
took.
I don't even know how many screenshots I have on my Switch. I know I took quite a bit when I was playing Breath of the Wild,
Yeah, I did
but I
too.
don't know that I'd taken any beyond that.
I've never intentionally taken a screenshot. I'm not a screenshot taker guy. So I don't intentionally take screenshots. I had to delete everything off of there because there was so many screenshots. I'm like, you know what? If I'm going to play this from now on, I'm just going to dock it and play it on the TV with the Pro controller.
I love the Pro controller. I hate how expensive it is, but man, that controller's good.
It's so worth it.
It really is.
Yeah.
That's one of the exceptions where I would say it's worth the extra money.
hmm I think so.
So if you have a Switch and you don't have a Pro controller, go get it and you'll thank us later.
Yes. But that's really all I got to say about it. Like I said, I didn't get that far into the game, but I did like what I played so far. It's a very good little game. Please go support these guys. Maybe I can talk them into giving us some. I'll tweet at them and see if they'll give us some codes to give away next week. Maybe. We'll see. I'll see what I can do. And yeah. And I don't know what you're doing next week, but I do want to tell everybody that we are going to be doing a top 5. What did we agree on? Top 5 horror games
Yep.
for our Halloween episode. So today is the 17th. So you have 2 weeks to get us your lists, tweet them at us, go to our Discord, or email them.
So I know we also talked about this too. We're going to record the episode the day before
Yes.
Halloween. So get your list in by the 30th.
Yeah, you got
and
13
we'll read
days.
them on the show.
Yeah, 13
Oh,
days.
ironic, 13.
Yeah,
there we go.
13. Woo! But yeah, this is unfortunately my last Halloween horror review for the year, and now I'm sad.
Next year I'll be here before you know it.
Oh, I know.
Next October. So I've already got a couple of ideas that I've saved in my notes for horror games for next year. So I'll be ahead of the curve
Yeah.
instead of behind it this time.
Well, if I'd have known that I was gonna get a Sega Saturn from a certain Mr. Image, I would have made sure I got Code Veronica in for Halloween Horror Month, but I already had these other games planned. So now I might, or not the Saturn, the Dreamcast. Good Lord. I sent him the Saturn. I got the Dreamcast. But yeah, I'm going to play Code Veronica. I may save that for my Christmas review. I'm not sure because I like doing horror stuff on Christmas myself.
I can support that.
Yeah,
I dig it.
Joey, you did give me Resident Evil. You gave me Code Veronica. That was the one you gave me. I don't know if you gave me any of the other Resident Evils.
I will give a shout out to Joey because of him, I am no longer perplexed.
Yeah.
If you know what I mean.
It's a very complex issue.
Yeah, it was.
But
thankfully, it's not an issue anymore.
Speaking of Resident Evil, next week.
Yep, I'm going to be reviewing the original Resident Evil game, which I've been playing the GameCube version. So I will be talking about that next week.
That's basically the version I played when I reviewed it a while back, because the remastered version that they have on the Switch is the GameCube version.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I'll save my thoughts for next week, but it'll be a fun discussion.
Yes, I love that game so much. I might go play that again. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe.
I'm trying to branch out my video game horizons. I play more than Zelda and Sonic.
Yeah, and the new Sonic game is looking pretty good. We got some tweets about it the other day from
Yeah,
I Am the Rampage.
I'm gonna pre-order it this week, and I'm gonna get it opening day.
And you can review
So
that.
I'm still gonna have my concerns, but I'm gonna go in with an open mind and say, you know what, maybe it's the game that the franchise needs.
Maybe.
But
We'll
we'll
see.
see.
But that brings us to the end of the episode, and I don't get to ask you about what's going on with feature presentation anymore.
Well, you can ask this. You can follow me. You can follow my movie pages on social at the Feature Movie on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. I've been trying to post a photo a day from the behind the scenes of making the movie. I'm almost done with the rough cut of the edit. Hopefully, I'll have that done by tomorrow night, and then from there, I'll keep everyone posted on when it'll be fully done. Definitely going to do a premiere here in Pensacola. Probably, if I had to guess, around the end of the year is when
Awesome.
it'll fully be ready. So I'll keep everyone posted on that. But yeah, you can follow me on on personal pages at Derek_Diamond. I did make a new filmmaker Facebook page that I haven't quite decided what I'm going to do with yet. That is facebook.com/Derek Diamond Filmmaker, I believe. So there's
Awesome.
still, I, I'm always going to have something going on,
Well, go
even if
follow
it's
him.
not,
Go follow.
my own show.
Yeah, I mean, go follow the movies and all that stuff because Derek makes good stuff. So go follow all
Well, I
that stuff.
appreciate that.
And hopefully I get to make another movie soon too. But I don't know. That's making movies is hard.
Yes, it is.
As far as my other stuff goes, go follow me over at Open Micers on Twitter and Instagram, where me and Mr. Jacob Craig talk to different celebrities and comedians every single week over there. And tonight we're gonna be doing a hostful goodness episode, and I have no idea what we're talking about. But usually we always talk about something weird. So go check us out at Open Micers on Twitter and Instagram. And is there anything else we need to talk about before we get out of here tonight?
I think we're good, sir.
Let's do it. If you'd like to email us, you can email us at nerdcaveretro@gmail.com. For everything else, go to nerdcaveretro.com. That takes you to our link tree, takes you to our Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, takes you to our merch page, ncrmerch.com, where you can go get a t-shirt, coffee mug, wall hangings, stickers, magnets, whatever you need. It's right over there, ncrmerch.com. And of course, our Patreon, patreon.com/nerdcaveretro. Little as $1 a month, get you access to all our extra content and early access to the commentary tracks and all that stuff. If you can't do that, I understand. Times are tough. Leave us a review wherever fine podcasts are given away for free. So, Derek, please tell them what it's all about.
May the way of the hero lead to the Triforce.
Yes. And that's an episode.
That was a good soundbite.
What were you saying, Joey? By the way, there's a movie on my server called Resident Evil. The cover art resembles a certain orange former president. You know, I liked that last Resident Evil movie they did. Welcome to Raccoon City. I mean, the sets,
I never saw it.
The sets in the movie look exactly like the game. My only problem with the movie is that I don't know why they try. Oh, you said President Evil. But the Resident Evil movie, that Welcome to Raccoon City, they tried to do Resident Evil and Resident Evil 2 and smash both of those into a 90-minute movie. Like, why?
You can just take the plot of the first game and that's its whole movie. It's not that hard.
Like, why would you do that? That was my only problem with it. It's like it's too much going on and not for 90 minutes.
I don't get it. I
I
don't get
don't
Hollywood sometimes.
I don't
Actually,
either.
I don't get them a lot of times. But
But
you mark my words, the first convention Harrison Ford does, somebody's going to ask him a question and he's going to get upset about it.
who the hell is Thunderbolt Ross? I don't get it.
He's he's going to have a flashback to Air Force One and he's going to go, "Get off my plane."
Get off my panel. God, that voice is hard to do. It's hard to get out of it. I tried to talk and I was still in it.
Yeah.
Oh man. But thank you guys for hanging out with us, and we will see you guys next week.